Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. This time we'll take a look at the 1998 Renault Megane 2-litre 16-valve Coupe. Things are really hotting up now. Yeah, this generation of Megane. My dad had one of these. It had an electrical problem that made it cut out every now and again, but it was like 300 quid and he donated it to someone, so can't complain too much. Probably my second favourite Megane. I mean, I guess my favourite's the one with the arse end on it, purely because it was just weird. I remember the adverts, but this one's pretty cool, even though it's based very heavily on, is it the Renault 19, and this are very, very similar. Either way, it's here today. It's no Laguna, but it'll do. Front engine, front wheel drive, 298 horsepower, 1,076 kilos. Pretty good power figures, really, so I'm expecting some decent things out of the Megane. Anyways, it is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 5 RS, which had a time of a 27.806. Yes, I'm still getting used to this. This might have the smallest brake lights in all of GT2. Why are they so small? I do remember these Megane Coupes. When the Megane came out, the whole sort of marketing spiel of it, or at least after a couple of years, was it was sort of like a your Megane your way. So there was the Megane Coupe, Megane Convertible, Megane Hatchback, you had the Megane Saloon, which was the Megane Classic, and of course you had the one that, I think in terms of sales, dwarfed them all. You had the Megane Scenic. So, which eventually just became the Renault Scenic after a couple of years. So it was sort of this era where they were trying to like completely make the Megane stick. Renault Sport was coming up at the time, so you had like the Renault Spider and a couple of Hot Clios and stuff, and they sort of tried to stick the Megane in there. Obviously this got entered into rallying in the F2 kit car class, which, in case you're wondering why this isn't running the race mod, that's because thanks to GT2 Plus, that's a separate car. So we can see that glorious race mod in all its beautifulness at some other point. But yeah, I remember, I think my teacher at primary school, unless it was just a car that ended up in the car park, but I specifically remember a yellow Megane convertible, which was a terrible car. Even back then, like, you looked at it and you was like, that is an awful car. And the weird thing is the Megane convertible wasn't one of those things that just like went away. The Megane convertible stuck around, I think, basically the entire time the Megane was around. They might have dropped it for the last generation before it became the sort of... Renault call it a crossover. I refuse to call it a crossover because to me it just looks like a hatchback that got squashed, but, you know, if that's what they want to call it, that's what they want to call it. But yeah, no, I remember these things. They never really were very cool. I guess looking back on it, you know, it's cool to remember there was a time where, you know, everyone was trying to make sporty cars as opposed to just whacking, like... What's Renault doing? They're currently, like, bastardizing the Alpine name and calling, like, they're getting Alpine trim levels for the Clio, and I think the top level, the giant new Renault, I've never seen one, but I think it's called like the Australe or something. Like, the whole point of that is the top line model's the Alpine, and it's like, you've just brought Alpine back from the dead, made the A110, and then have done nothing else with the brand now, and now you're basically using it as just Renault Sport. Why did you not just save yourself some money and just keep calling it Renault Sport? I preferred Renault Sport. The F1 liveries were so much better with Renault Sport than Alpine. But anyways, that's my rant over. This car is so nothing to drive. I managed to have a rant about Renault for 5 minutes. It's alright to drive. It's fine. There's nothing to say about the way this car drives. It's alright. It's not very quick, you know, compared to its rivals, but yeah. There's just nothing to this car. 31.530, maybe it could have gone quicker, but I don't think you'd have got much more out of it. That 530 is going to place it into 104th place. It goes very fractionally between the Mugen Accord and the Lotus Elan, quicker than the Mazda Demio, quicker than the Peugeot 306, which I guess is its closest rival, although that car was tested very long ago. It's quicker than a Corvette and a Dodge Avenger, so just normal Renault Megane things. Slower than the Opel Corsa, and then there's a bunch of other cars that are further up, like the Neons and stuff, which are quicker than this. So yeah, in terms of like European front-wheel drive cars, it hasn't done very well, but as the Megane always is, it's a car. So yeah, there you go. Look forward to the rally car. That's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something hopefully a bit less average. Until then, farewell.